And that's when he said, I want you to go back out to that family and I want you to convince them not to file the report.
The church is supposed to be sort of a moral compass for all of us.
It's amazing how it was just shoved under the rug.
Many of the families were shamed. It's not Father so-and-so's problem, it's yours.
Tonight only on 3TV, accountability for sex abuse in the Catholic Church.
That's right. Earlier you heard from a former Arizona priest and county prosecutor who worked together to bring down a bishop and about a half dozen pedophile priests in Phoenix about 15 years ago.
Our Nicole Crites continues her special report on the call to give the bishop immunity in exchange for a public apology and some big changes to protect our children.
When you had that hard decision of obstruction of justice versus getting the bishop to relinquish his power and to make this public apology.
It was a tough call. It was an extraordinarily tough call. I think it was the right call, even to this day.
Former Maricopa County Attorney Rick Romley says forcing then Bishop Thomas O'Brien to make some major concessions and changes in vetting, training, supervising, reporting, and reprimanding priests saved everyone years of fighting in court to prove the church complicit in the cover-up.
Because I felt having the bird in the hand and making real changes in the church to stop the sexual abuse of the future would be better than maybe losing it totally in the court.
O'Brien was the first bishop to admit to knowingly putting priests accused and convicted of sexual abuse into churches and schools.
He admitted he had been transferring pedophile priests.
I think people should be held accountable.
Harry Takata says Bishop O'Brien didn't deserve immunity. His case is one of the many settled by the Phoenix Diocese over the years to the collective tune of more than $3 million.
Romley took the accused people and put them on trial. He didn't ask for the church to open up their records.
We had heard that there may be some secret files. I was very willing to do a grand jury subpoena or probably a search warrant because if they were hiding it from us. But we were never able to identify any location or where they may be.
Romley says 15 years ago, the church didn't want to acknowledge the problem. Today, dioceses are far more willing to work with law enforcement, despite the Vatican this week suggesting that's not the answer.
Here and now, our people are angry, embarrassed, confused, and disgusted.
Phoenix Bishop Thomas Olmsted, speaking at the National Conference Wednesday, says the church owes it to the faithful to continue to seek healing and transparency. The Justice Department and 18 states are now investigating. They want to name names outing accused pedophiles. The Phoenix Diocese has lists online of more than 100 priests accused of abuse over the last 8 decades across Arizona.
There was a mass movement to hide the priests that were doing this.
Romley says he sent a letter to the Vatican to ask the Pope to order 2 priests who skipped town when they got indicted to come back to face charges.
It just said return to sender, but I saw on the side it had been retaped. They had opened it and read it, and they just returned it. That tells me that the leadership in Rome has had it went all the way to the top. Let me just put it that way.
But what does justice look like for the victims? What does justice look like for the abusers and those who knew and did nothing?
Whatever we need to do to heal either the victim or the offender, we're dedicated to doing that.
The Phoenix Diocese now trains 30,000 people a year to look for and report any warning signs. They also have a lay review board made up of local judges, police detectives, child psychologists, teachers, nurses, and priests to investigate abuse allegations.
Our schools, our parishes are probably one of the safest places.
Just this week, the bishop removed another retired priest after hearing of an out-of-state allegation from the 70s.
I'm not sure that there's ever a purity of justice. I mean, we touch it, but for the victims of these crimes, they live it for a lifetime.
The diocese has a victim fund to pay for counseling, and so does the Maricopa County Attorney. I asked if there are any tandem criminal investigations with the Jesuits releasing more names of accused abusers. Both County Attorney's Office and the AG's office assure me they are keeping a close eye on this. You can count on us to do the same. More on our full investigation on our news app now. Back to you.